Okay, we're going to be graphing functions with multiple parameter changes. So we're going to get some nice transitions from this. First, we want to graph y equals square root of x minus 2. Now this is a c parameter here. So what we're going to do is remove all parameters. So we'll get the base function. So when we remove the c, we're going to get the square root of x. Then we're going to start adding our parameters back. First we'll add c, then we'll add b, then a, and then d. So now we're going to add the c parameter. So this becomes x minus 2. And that's it. Once we see this graph, we'll know what it looks like. So let's go to square root of x. Now, we're going to need anchor points and the orientation for square root of x. For that, we're going to go to Desmos. Let me kind of go through the motions of Desmos. We're going to type in f of x equals, and the square roots are down here, and then put in x, and we get our graph. Now, anchor points, easy to get. I can see there's an anchor point right here, which is 0, 0. So we're going to actually use 0, 0. I can get other anchor points by going up the graph, and I see that 1, 1 is an anchor point. But over here I see there's another anchor point. I think I'd rather have this one. It's a 4, 2. So I'm going to use the 0, 0 and the 4, 2 as anchor points with this orientation. Okay, so let's do that. So for square root of x, we'll have an anchor point here at 0, 0, and another anchor point right here at 4, 2, with the orientation looking this way. Okay. Now, next, we got that done. We want to go to x minus 2. That takes all of these and moves everything to the right 2 times. So the 0, 0 anchor point moves over to 2, 0. And the 4, 2 moves over to a 6, 2. And then we keep the orientation the same as well as we can. There we go. All right, now let's take a look at the next problem here. All right, this time we have more parameters. I'll put the 1 here, understood, to show that this is an a parameter. The negative 2 here is a c parameter, and the 3 over here is a d parameter. When I remove all parameters, I get the base function, which is the square root of x. Okay. Then I'll start putting my parameters back on one by one, starting with the c parameter. So this will become square root of x minus 2. Then you put in your b parameter. There is no b parameter, so I can actually skip that one. Now I'll go to the a parameter, which is a negative 1 square root of x minus 2. And then I'll put on my d parameter, so negative 1 square root x minus 2 and plus 3 at the end. Okay, so let's begin with the square root of x. We already know 2 anchors for that. That is 0, 0. Now I'll go ahead and draw the graph. And we have 4, 2. Those are 2 points that anchor it. Okay, so next we want to move to the x minus 2, and this will move everything over 2 times. So the 0, 0 will become 2, 0. And the 4, 2, when it moves over 2 times to the right, now becomes a 6, 2. Again, we keep the orientation the same. All right, next. We want to now include the negative 1. Okay, got that done. The negative 1 is the a parameter. This is going to give us a reflection across the x-axis, the negative 1. So let's make a reflection here. The 2, 0 is going to stay 2, 0. So let's keep that right there, 2, 0. But the 6, 2 will go from above to below. So instead of being 2 above, it'll be 2 below, which is 6, negative 2. So I'll put a point right here and call it 6, negative 2. And then the orientation will be the same but on the bottom instead. So here's the orientation, and we're done. Lastly, what happens when you add a parameter d, which is plus 3? It'll raise everything 3 times. So when you raise a 2, 0 3 times, it goes up here to a 2, comma 3. Okay? And when you raise a 6, negative 2 3 times, it takes it to a 6, 1. So right about here, 6, 1. And then you keep the orientation the same as best you can. And we're done.